Dachshund in the movies. Dachshund has appeared in films such as Toy Story 1995, The Secret Life of Pets 2016, Hugo 2011, The Ugly Dachshund 1966, The Art of Self-Defense 2019, La Dolce Vita 1960, Lady and the Tramp 1955, Wiener Dog 2016. Breed standards may change over time. Both appearance standards and standards regarding breed character or working qualities may change. The works of art of the early years depict the most typical representatives of the breeds of that time. Comparing with the modern appearance of the breed, you will be able to assess how much the breed has changed over time. Also of interest are archival photographs of specific breeds, which you can find on the internet in specialized forums about the breed. Historical reference of the breed and subgroup. Modern cynology gives reason to believe the Dachshunds and Dachshunds descend from ancient forms of hounds, in particular, from their undersized representative. It was from him that the Dachshund eventually descended, inheriting from their ancestors the ability to pursue their prey with a voice, excellent flair and viscosity in work. Then there were two types of these dogs: bow-legged dogs, intended only for underground hunting, and coarse-haired lowhounds. The evolution of the breed, the growth of its numbers and popularity, the active practical use in hunting led to the need to create varieties according to the coat. More warmly dressed dogs were needed. The original type, no doubt, was smooth-haired. All three coat varieties, smooth-haired, long-haired and wire-haired, are first mentioned in 1836. However, the initial attempts to create a wire-haired Dachshund were not very successful. The dogs had longer legs and the shortened format lost the Dachshund look. Secondarily, attempts to breed a wire-haired Dachshund were returned later, in the 80s of the 19th century. The smooth Dachshund was fused with the blood of the Dandy Dinman Terrier, which had a similar structure, as well as the Pinscher, Schnauzer and some other rough-coated terriers. As a result, a rough-haired variety was created, which was not inferior to its smooth-haired counterpart either in working qualities or in exterior. The first breed standard was adopted in 1879. Throughout the history of the Dachshund as a burrowing hunting dog, breeders have attempted to create a miniature Dachshund to work in rabbit holes. Currently, three types of Dachshund are distinguished by size: normal, dwarf and the smallest, rabbit. Each of them, in turn, has three varieties according to the coat: smooth-haired, wire-haired and long-haired. Fans of this breed never think that the Dachshund looks caricatured or awkward. On the contrary, they admire her proud posture, self-esteem and her whole appearance. Of great importance for the working qualities of dogs of this breed is the nature of their movement. The movement mechanism of the Dachshund consists of the top line, as well as limbs, the good structure of which ensures the correct character of movements, completely subject to the laws of biomechanics. The top line is made up of high long withers, a long strong back, a long, slightly arched loin and an elongated, slightly sloping croup. A sagging back, a humpback loin, a sloping croup are absolutely unacceptable, as they violate the correct mechanism of movement. The Dachshund limbs, both front and rear, have their own, very special structure. The articulation angles of all joints are 90 degrees. For example, the scapula is equal in length to the humerus, and forms a right angle with it. Violation of this geometry will affect not only the appearance of the Dachshund, but also necessarily its performance. The palette of colors is able to satisfy every taste. There are one-color Dachshunds, red, with a wide range of shades from dark, polished mahogany, to bright orange and sandy. There are two-tone ones, black and brown with red tan marks, located in certain places, and having their own pattern. There are three colors, marble. Maybe many gave their hearts to Dachshund for her extraordinary mind and completely special, unlike anyone else, and not at all simple character. These little dogs combined ice and fire of seemingly incompatible qualities. Sociability, fidelity, devotion, and independence, playfulness and the need to be in solitude, love for the owner and independence, excellent trainability and a cold-blooded assessment of the need to execute a command, softness, plasticity and unshakable perseverance in achieving goals, the ability to deliver real happiness to its owner, and at the same time is his nerves, tenderness and courage, the desire for warmth and comfort in the house, and complete dedication to work should be ruffled. Dachshund is very unpretentious in content. She feels equally good in a city apartment, and in a rural area, she will be a true friend to a lonely person, and a favorite of a large family. She is especially friendly with children. However, when raising a Dachshund puppy, it is necessary to remember the seriousness of the character of such dogs, because this is a hunting animal breed. These dogs do not forgive neglect, excessive severity, and worse, beatings. She will never forget the hitting hand, and you still will not achieve the desired result. Dachshund is in great need of human contact. She not only obediently goes to such contact, but strives for it. A special mutual understanding develops when a person correctly assesses the specifics of the breed, its intellectual inclinations. Dachshund is very fond of all kinds of activities with a person, from a simple game to complex training, when the dog is given the opportunity to independently solve the task set by the owner. The breed has a tendency to self-learning. By nature, Dachshund is sanguine. She is not characterized by either nervousness or phlegm. She is a sober being. This applies equally to her daily life and work. Dachshund is strongly attached to the human family in which she lives. Some breeds are strongly attached to one person, others to all members of the human family, others may have a friendly attitude towards all people in general, and the fourth may not have close ties even with the owner. Dachshunds become attached to all members of the human family in which they live. But with strangers, Dachshund behave aggressively and belligerently. The attitude of any dog to strangers strongly depends on the breed of the pet, but even more strongly this attitude depends on the upbringing and socialization of a particular individual, while socialization in the early puppyhood of a pet is especially important in this regard. At the same time, Dachshund get along just fine with children. However, regardless of the dog's friendly attitude towards children, a dog of any breed should not be left alone with small children. Some breeds of dogs are more relaxed about the behavior of young children, and may not pay attention to semantics of children. However, it should be understood that dogs of all breeds, no matter how friendly they are, should be with children only under the supervision of the owner or adults, since in addition to the qualities of the breed in relation to children, there are also the individual characteristics of each dog, its upbringing and previous experience in communicating with children. Even these relationships are largely influenced by the behavior of children. With other dogs, Dachshund has a neutral relationship. Different breeds of dogs treat their own kind differently. Some dogs will play and interact in every possible way with dogs they meet or live with. Other breeds may try to dominate or even attack similar four-legged ones. At the same time, the relationship between dogs can be very different from how a dog will react to people. The behavior of a dog in relation to other dogs and people depends not only on the breed, but also on the socialization of a particular individual. Dachshund communication with small pets such as hamsters, domestic rats, squirrels, chinchillas and other rodents is best limited. Cats can get along. One of the very big advantages of the Dachshund breed is the undemandingness of this breed to the owner's dog ownership experience. Some dog breeds are easier to keep and train, while others are more independent and even assertive and require an experienced owner. The Dachshund breed is great for inexperienced dog owners, or even those who are getting a dog for the first time. Dachshunds are also just great for keeping in an apartment, but keep in mind that they do not tolerate loneliness and cannot be left alone for a long time. The quality and quantity of wool does not allow Dachshund to comfortably endure even a little cold. The heat of the Dachshund is well tolerated, but strenuous activity should be avoided during the warm season. Learning and training. All dogs can be trained, but some breeds remember and execute commands faster and more readily than other breeds. Different breeds need a different approach to training and education. Some breeds may appear to be poorly trainable or even stupid. However, in most cases, a dog breed's trainability is due to the stubborn or independent nature of the dog breeder individual. This is just a case of Dachshund. They are smart enough to understand what they want from them, but they are also stubborn. Also of great importance in the trainability of a dog is the role of what training methods the trainer uses for a particular breed. In the book The Intelligence of Dogs, published in 1994 and written by University of British Columbia Vancouver psychology professor Stanley Coren, Dachshund is ranked 50 out of 80 in terms of learning ability. In this regard, the breed is on a par with the Staffordshire Bull Terrier, and next to such breeds as the Great Dane, Alaskan Malamute, Whippet, Shar-Pei and wire-haired Fox Terrier. The disadvantage of this scale of learning ability, by the author's own admission, is a strong dependence on the ability to obedience and command execution, for example, for working or service dogs, and its weak connection with understanding and creativity, for example, hunting dogs. As a result, some breeds rank lower on the list, because of their stubborn or independent nature, which does not make them weakly intelligent or untrainable. In Professor Stanley Coren's book, Dachshund is located in the group Dogs with Average Learning Abilities. Mastering a new team from 25 to 40 repetitions. Execution of the command from the first time, in 50% of cases and above. Tendency to bark. Among other things, breeds differ in the level of noise, or rather, in the frequency of their barking. Some breeds can bark all the time without stopping, and never get tired of barking at every stranger or strange dog that passes by your house or by herself. Other breeds bark only on business, when it is necessary in her opinion, and still others can only give a voice in exceptional cases. Dachshund has a tendency to bark unreasonably. These dogs are also not deprived of the desire to gnaw. The desire to gnaw and taste everything is common to puppies of all breeds, but as adults, different breeds have varying degrees of propensity to explore the world with their teeth. Dachshund are quite prone to such pranks. Activity and energy level. According to the level of charge and activity, breeds can also be divided into active and calm or even lazy. An active dog will require constant walks, training and frequent mental stimulation from you. Calm and less energetic dogs will be happy with short walks around the house and will gladly share your desire to lie on the couch at home. This feature should be taken into account when choosing a pet, since the unfulfilled needs of an active animal will be realized at home on the things and objects of your home. The amount of energy in the dog also determines with what desire and for how long the dog will play games with you or with your child under your supervision. Dachshund moderately active dogs, not long walks with the owner of this breed will be enough. Some owners train their Dachshund specifically for racing. Despite the fact that these races greatly increase interest in the breed, most taxi associations oppose them due to the high risk of back injuries in animals. In addition, many breeds have an innate desire to chase moving objects and animals. The degree of this desire may vary from breed to breed. If this innate instinct is highly developed in a dog, you need to carefully monitor the pet during a walk and keep it on a leash, since any moving object can provoke the dog to chase, even if it is a car that can harm the animal. At such moments the dog can disobey the call of the owner and switch all your attention to the moving target. In addition, such breeds pose an additional danger to small domestic animals and birds. In Dachshund, this instinct is highly developed and should be kept in mind when walking with your pet. Passion for vagrancy and love of freedom. Some breeds have a tendency to cover long distances on their fours, for which they were bred, so these dogs, following their instinct, will not miss the opportunity to escape from you and run a couple of kilometers, despite your calls. Sled dogs, hounds and bloodhounds are mainly inclined to such walks. Dachshunds tend to have this habit and may run away from their owner during a walk if they smell an interesting smell or if they spot a moving object. Tendency to drool. The amount of saliva produced depends on the characteristics of the breed. Some breeds salivate so much that they can leave marks on the carpet, on the sofa, on the floor and on you. Other breeds also salivate, but this happens in much less quantities. Luckily, Dachshunds produce very little saliva. Also a big plus for Dachshunds is that they leave little wool behind. The amount of dog hair in your home and on your clothes depends a lot on what breed you choose. Some breeds shed all year round, others only seasonally, others hardly shed. This characteristic of the breed can be important depending on where you plan to keep the pet, whether members of your family are allergic to animal hair, and how important it is to you in general. Dog care. Some breeds may require a lot of grooming and attention due to co-characteristics, muzzle shape, habitat, or the general health of the breed. Dachshund in this regard are quite average in terms of the complexity of the care of the dog. They do not require a lot of time for themselves. General health of the breed on a 10-point scale. The general health of dogs of this breed, and the possibility of the appearance of genetic diseases in them can be assessed on a 10-point scale of 4 points. That is, they are quite healthy dogs with a certain number of possible diseases. The breed is prone to spinal problems, especially intervertebral disc disease, due in part to the extremely long spine and short chest. The risk of injury can be increased due to obesity, jumping, rough handling, or intense exercise that puts more stress on the vertebrae. Treatment consists of a combination of cage keeping and courses of anti-inflammatory drugs. In severe cases, surgery may be required to remove the problematic contents of the disc. The dog may need the help of a cart to get around if he is paralyzed. In addition to back problems, this breed is prone to patellar luxation, in which the patella can become dislodged. Dachshunds can also suffer from brittle bone disease. Some Dachshunds have varying degrees of vision and hearing loss. Other health problems in Dachshund include hereditary epilepsy, dental problems, Cushing's syndrome, thyroid and autoimmune diseases, various allergies, and various eye conditions including cataracts, glaucoma, progressive retinal damage. The average life expectancy of a Dachshund is 12 to 14 years.